The build that got me 22 clean sheets out of 34 games, 5 higher than anyone else. The build that helped my team come second. The build that helped me, a washed goalkeeper, win all these awards. This build, it goes alright. I'm going to show you the height, the weight, the skill tree, the perks, everything that I use in 11v11 competitions for pro clubs. This ain't against 2 or 3 man teams. This is a build that is comp proven. And now I'm going to give it to you. I'm not going to waste your time, but before I get into it, how's everyone's day? I hope you're doing well. It's really cold over here in Australia. UK, can you take the winter back? Please. I also want to say that the build is only as good as the person controlling it. So obviously, the build can't save you if you're spamming your right stick, if you're just running around the box. Basically, the most important part for any goalkeeper is the person controlling it. And I've made a heap of videos on how to play goalkeeper, and I'm going to keep doing them. But it's always nice to have a good, quick, agile goalkeeper who can get to many shots, who can make double saves. And that's exactly what this build is. So let's go. Now, I currently run 149 pounds and I'm 6'5". And for anyone using the other metrics, that equates to 195 centimeters and 67 kilograms. Truthfully, I'm not a big fan of if this thing gives you one more reaction or if this thing gives you one more reflex, then you need to opt towards that sort of build. Nah, I just find that irrelevant. I just think use common sense. I try not to go too tall because it's obviously way too lanky. It'll be harder to get down on the ground when you need to make lower saves, but you don't want to go too short. Same thing with the weight. You don't want to be too heavy. I mean, it's just pretty intuitive, but at the same time, you want to be able to make sure that you're big enough so that you have a good hitbox, and that'll help whenever you're rushing out of the box. You want to make sure that you make your goalkeeper large enough, and well, that's the strength of going 6'5" and 149. You strike a really good balance. And stats wise too, if you do want to look into that, with 92 diving, 95 positioning, and 94 reflex, you can't go wrong. Okay, where was I? And lastly, the running style, I use the peacock. It's the same thing that I used in my last build video. Again, you can just spread your arms a lot better when you rush out, or at least that's what I think. It's a little superstition, but it's working for me, so why change it? Now, let's touch on the skill tree, shall we? Let's get physical. Contrary to my last build, I don't have strength anymore, I don't have double stamina, but I think by just having one, it helps you to recover a little bit better. It makes sure that your goalkeeper doesn't tire out easy, and that's comforting as a goalkeeper. So one is really good. Moving on, you do not need defense, don't waste your time on it, so leave that blank, save your skill points. Bish bosh bash. Okay, dribbling, this is where we actually invest. I like to be a goalkeeper that can control the ball whenever he receives it from his teammates, who can quickly dribble in and out using the left stick, who's agile and quick, and by equipping balance, agility, ball control, and dribbling, you're gonna feel the difference. I hate feeling clunky, and without these perks, you definitely feel a lot worse, so equip a couple because they're worth it. Now, moving on to passing, and for those long kicks, for those R1Xs, for those quick short passes, I think it's important to have at least one long and one short passing trait. You want your passes to be pinpoint, you want your teammates to be able to trust you. You think about some of the best passing goalkeepers in the world. You got Neuer, Pickford, Andrew Redmayne. Basically, passing is so important, and it's really overlooked by goalkeepers. Shooting, no. The second last thing, pace. Surprisingly, I have everything. When you hit level 20 or 21, I can't remember, but you get those 10 extra skill points, and that was exactly what I allocated towards the cheater archetype. I think pace is so crucial, especially for when you're rushing out. I have a whole system for when to come out of the box, and by having a quick and fast goalkeeper, I make sure that the opposition cannot get a shot off or cannot ball roll me, and that's why I have everything on pace. I think it's so important. Again, be fast, be quick, both on the ball and off it, and this will allow you to do that. And on to the last attribute, goalkeeping. Much like pace, you want to be able to slap everything on because it's that important. Make sure that you double down on the ones that you can, and just go all the way. This is something that you want to max out first before anything. And that wraps up the skill tree for my comp goalkeeper build. So lastly, let's move on to the perks. It's the same thing as my last build, but ever since I unlocked that third perk slot, I've opted for the GK one-on-one. You just get the best of all three worlds. With the clutch save, that helps you from the 75th minute onwards, and when you're playing comp, that's really important. The quick reflex is one of the best perks you can have, because by having a goalkeeper that can react quickly, that is really good. And as a goalkeeper, you always want to be coming out of the box quickly and closing the angle for the opposition, and the GK one-on-one helps you to do that. That's it for the build. Again, like I said, I didn't want to waste your time. If you need any advice for goalkeeping, let me know in the comments. I've also made so many videos on how to come out of your box, how to read your opponents, where to dive, when to dive, etc. AVPL episode 4 is coming out soon. If you haven't watched the first 3, they're right on my homepage, and you don't want to miss them.
Plays it off to Duncan. Sar, he has the player. Sar has scored the goal. Olympus.
And yeah, that's it for me. Enjoy, all the best, and I'll see you later.